Football pregame show where Matt forgot to wear a costume. It's Halloween weekend. Matt, how are you today?
I am doing well. How about you?
Doing just fine and dandy. Thanks for asking.
Good.
So let's get right off into the most important thing, which is the comment from JP Chaos. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, JP Chaos. Welcome to the show. Let's get at it. Matt, it's time for you to give us the weather forecast.
Okay, so we do actually have some weather issues today. We've got about 5 games that we're expecting to get some heavier winds that will affect some of the players here. Let's start off in Green Bay with the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. It is windy, but there is gusts expected up to about 50 miles an hour. Will affect the long passing game anyway. The shorter game, I mean, Rodgers has a strong arm. I wouldn't be overly concerned about that, but I think that'll hurt the Vikings players. I think a little bit more than the Packers there. Cleveland and Vegas, same sort of issue with possibly some snow and some rain as well, though, with some high winds. Titans, Bengals, and Cincinnati, also heavy winds, not quite as bad, but still up there. Patriots and Bills, another a windy situation with also combined with some rain. Going to hurt the receivers there. The only one that you're probably starting is Diggs. And a little bit later on, they're expecting high winds in the windy city of Chicago with the Saints and the Bears.
One thing I've noticed about Josh Allen is he struggles mightily when the elements come into play. So if you have another quarterback that you can start instead of Josh Allen, maybe go that way. But at the same time, if it's that sloppy, he's probably going to be running for a ton, so it should be good. Dustin Holland, good morning. We are still on, and it is another Sunday AM with the fine man at Blue Duck. Thanks, everybody, for coming to the show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's talk about this weather. Who are some fringe players that you would now drop in your rankings because of this? Let's talk some wide receivers.
Yeah, okay. I was a little bit higher on Justin Jefferson from the Vikings this week, but I believe with this wind, he's more of a deep ball kind of guy, and I thought they were going to get some garbage time here. That would be somebody I would drop a little bit more. Then I wouldn't drop Thielen too much, but I would drop Jefferson.
Okay, so where was he and where was he going to?
I had him, I think, in the high teens. He's going to go into like the mid to low 20s now.
Okay, so still a start.
But not confident start.
All right, Derek Real, good morning, party people. Okay, so let's just bring up the rankings here.
That would be definitely one that I'm a little bit more concerned about.
Take a look here. We'll full size that. If I can click on it properly. Let's get the PPR rankings going.
So there'd be him for that game, and nobody else really. I mean, if you happen to be starting MVS for whatever reason, I would take him out. He's only a deep ball guy.
So what about somebody like T. Higgins?
I'd still be okay with T. Higgins. Again, it's not supposed to be quite as bad in that game, but so I won't change a lot with the Bengals and the Titans guys there.
Okay, so Nelson Aguilar getting a drop, no longer somebody you're looking to start.
I was never looking to start him.
Well, I mean, plug and play into your lineup. He's out of the question now. Find a different direction if you were looking that way, simply because like you have Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield throwing passes. The Cleveland guys, Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, those guys are also out of the equation. You're going to want to move off them to somebody like Denzel Mims.
Higgins plays for Cincinnati.
Rashard Higgins?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about T.
I was talking about T, but then I was talking about the Cleveland game and Rashard and DVP or DPJ, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't have started those guys anyway. So, I mean, I'd still keep in Landry.
Yeah, I still would as well because it's going to be short passes. So that's not really going to affect him that much. But I'll give you a situation of a team that I have. And don't worry, it's not the team where we're playing each other. If I can get this to work.
Yeah, it might affect Jarvis Landry's passing game.
It might affect Jarvis Landry's passing game. Yeah. So I have a situation where I have T. Higgins, Sterling Shepard, and Travis Fulham filling out my wide receiver spots. On the bench, I have Denzel Mims and Scotty Miller. So out of those 5, when we have T. Higgins kind of going against it now, would you put in Mims or Scotty Miller?
Well, I definitely have Mims ahead of Scotty Miller.
Okay, so would you put in Mims for T. Higgins now because of the wind?
I had them pretty close anyway. I think that's just a safer play. I'd be like, what kind of situation are you in? Are you supposed to lose? Do you need a bigger game, or?
I'm supposed to win by 50 right now, apparently, but I don't know if this guy set his lineup.
Okay, like if you're big time, then I would just leave.
Just leave? Higgins. Yeah, he has AJ Dillon starting with Braxton Berrios, Zach Pascal. I think he has Cedric Wilson in his lineup here. He has everybody else on bye. This is a dynasty league, and he has a lot of players on bye or injured. Morning, Chad. He has a question for us. Chad Coleman asks, Hunt or Jacobs 0.5 PPR? That's going to be Jacobs.
Like,
but, I mean, they're
you
both.
Got to start both. You got to find a way to get both those guys in there.
Yeah, who is your other running back, Chad, that you are having to make this decision between these two guys?
I'm thinking he had Mike Davis probably on Thursday. That's probably what happened.
That would have been disappointing. No flex, I guess.
Yeah, that's if that's the league I'm thinking of for him. I mean it's Hunt, but it's like ranked 5 and 6 for me. Like it's
really close. I have both of them in my DFS lineups that have changed because of the wind. It's gonna be a lot of running in that game. So thanks for the question, Chad.
Yeah.
So let's get into what this week is all about, and that's revenge week. A lot of matchups, guys going against their former teams. Biggest one, Bell versus the Jets in Kansas City. Yeah. How much like Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, I had him in my top 20 here. Like I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't the Jets anyway. I'm just looking for him here. Yeah, I had him at 17. I have him in my DFS. You saw that. I think and also it's going to help that they're probably going to blow out the Jets, so they're just going to let him go, I think.
As you are correct, he already started Davis on Thursday, and he has no flex.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't have started Davis over either one of those two, but
I would agree with that. Yeah. Question from Bobby Munson. How's A-Rob's health? It's a concussion, right? So if he's cleared to play, I'm not worried about him whatsoever. Him or Bobby Woods, standard league, it's going to be A-Rob. Bobby Woods fucks. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about Robinson playing. Like, I mean, it's not like it's an ankle or a hamstring or something where he's just
he's not going to be limited.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the same factor as he would. I would start him. Even with that win concern, he's their only passing option, really.
All right, so let's talk about another player who has a revenge game, and that's Melvin Gordon against the Chargers. Phillip Lindsay is going today. Mm-hmm. Do you think Melvin Gordon gets the bulk like he did last week after Lindsay was getting the bulk, but then Lindsay had to step out?
Yeah, I think Melvin Gordon's got extra motivation this week. Like, this is a team that it's kind of like the same as the Bell situation with the Steelers. He was trying to hold out, and he ended up playing, but they didn't bring him back. I've got him DFS as well, so I went heavy on that revenge aspect there for my DFS.
The guy who doesn't believe in revenge games is taking all the revenge games in DFS.
Yeah, it's a little bit different with these two players in particular. Like if you say, if you would have said like Randall Cobb last week, well, that's not really.
No, but again, like this is a different situation. Like The Jets just cut Bell 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Gordon sat out against the team. Now, are you worried at all that the Chargers team is like, this guy's not going to fuck today because we're going to stop him because he sat out against us? Do you think the defense is a little pissed at Melvin Gordon? Or do you think they understand?
I can't. Oh, I mean, however they feel about it, I think the motivation is a lot heavier on the Bronco side than the Charger side there.
Okay. So we got another question from Chad here. He asked Gio or Swift 0.5 PPR. I would think Gio would be the safer option, but Swift would probably have the higher ceiling there. But I go Gio.
He's got really, really close guys. I've got Gio at 19 and Swift at 21, so I would go Gio. Especially with that little bit of a win factor. I think Cincinnati's going to run a little bit more than they normally would.
Okay, you're going to have to help me decipher this question from Stroke My Eagle. I play in a keeper league. What's your thoughts on the strategy of selling for picks, then buying the next week only to sell the week after?
So this person, he sold his keepers and acquired picks, and then he traded picks for better players to make his team decent again, and then he lost, and so he's trying to sell players again.
it sounds like an awful strategy unless that one game where he bought for was a game against like his rival that he hates and doesn't want to lose to. And even in that case, it's still a terrible strategy, but at least I could understand the reason why you would want to be good for 1 week.
Yeah, it's not a good strategy.
You should make a decision to sell or buy. Don't go back and forth between the two. That's not going to work. I mean, it's tough. Tough to win trades like that. Like if you're winning every deal, maybe, but I wouldn't go that route whatsoever.
A couple, like one of the players, at least he was able to, he got a better pick back than the one he traded away. So that was like he traded a player for a 3rd round pick, and then he got a 2nd for him the week after.
So yeah, if he's winning the trades, I mean, it's a very risky strategy because there's no guarantee in anything. And if you get stuck with the keepers back, it's just, I don't know.
It helps with a specific owner in our league, I think. So
Jimmy Graham versus the Saints, that's still a revenge game, right?
No, not the same.
They traded him in his prime.
Yeah, that's like how many years ago? Like 5, 6, 7, maybe? I don't know.
Could have been before Y2K. Let's talk about the Seattle backfield, Matt. Who is your pick to lead this today? Because this is what we get a lot of questions about.
That is actually one of my issues today. I've got Carson in a couple leagues. I'm on the bench because I don't think he'll play. But I think it's going to be DJ Dallas. I just can't really see Carson playing based off what I've heard all week. But I'm kind of avoiding the whole situation now. I'm not trusting any of them. I don't play. I wouldn't start Homer. So it's Dallas or Carson if he plays. If you can wait on that 325 or 425 depending on your time zone, I would wait on that to see if Carson goes. I would play him, but I don't have that luxury in my leagues where I have him.
So I have Carson in one of my dynasty leagues, the same league that I'm supposed to win by 50, and I'm currently starting James White over him. Would you go away from that, or do you think the short passing game in Buffalo is going to be a thing today?
You don't have anything else that you could maybe put in there? So.
A Malcolm Brown or a Justin Jackson would be the other running backs, or a Wayne Gallman, but I don't want to play Wayne Gallman against Tampa.
Like I think Jackson and White are pretty close, so I would probably lean that, and then if Carson goes, I would flip him in.
I won't be able to because they're going at 12, and Carson plays this afternoon.
Chargers are early?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant they were late. Chargers in Denver are early game?
No, they're late.
Yeah, so Seattle and San Fran would be okay there.
But you're saying sit White.
I'm saying sit White, so then leave Justin Jackson in, and then if Carson plays, put in Carson.
That's not a bad strat.
Like I think Jackson and White are like very close to plays this week. I see that you've got a lot bigger different gap than I do, but
Kate, would you like to play against Chris Carson in our matchup, or would you like to play against? Never mind, I don't have any other running backs.
Yeah, that my team's kind of hooped in that league right now. So
yes, it says I'm going to win by a lot, but the projections on Sleeper are pretty terrible. Another comment here from Stroke My Ego. So I'm a seller this week. Running back options are Gallman, Lindsey, and Harris. Who makes you rock hard, half-mast, and flaccid? None of these guys make me rock hard. Correct. None of these guys even make me half-mast. Harris, is Harris your best bet here against a terrible Bills defense?
Like Gallman's against a ridiculously good run defense in Tampa.
The only spot where Tampa's not that great is in the passing for running backs, but that's going to be Dion Lewis's role, right? Yeah. And Lindsey is going to take a backseat to Melvin Gordon.
I don't think so today.
So I think that Harris, fingers crossed, is the guy against a Bills defense that couldn't stop anybody. Like everybody runs all over them. CEH ran all over them. I mean, Bell was running all over them. Darrell Williams was running all over them. Like they can't stop anyone. I think Cam's going to have a big game, but I think Harris is your only hope to actually have points because the rest of these guys you're looking at just like a bad number. Unless you get a garbage later on,
he says to pick 2 though. So
he didn't say pick 2.
Yeah, a couple comments down now.
Oh, pick 2?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would go
Gallman, I guess, because I just think Melvin Gordon's gonna get too much revenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lindsey's the best actual back out of the 3, but
yeah,
it's just the matchups, and if it wasn't Denver against the Chargers there, that would go.
If it was anybody else, it wasn't a revenge game, I would go with Lindsey because he is the better running back of the three. Question from Joel Jenkins: Mike Williams or Damien Harris flex? Do you know if this is standard or PPR, Matt?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably standard. I'm thinking that it's Yahoo. I would go Williams, even in standard. I don't like New England backs.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike Williams has been absolute garbage. We're going to talk about him later. Let's just talk about him right now. You have him ranked at 27. I have him at 43. He hasn't really done it unless Allen's out. Herbert really doesn't look his way. 25 targets in 5 games, a high of 9 in week 1, and that was with Tyrod. The only other game was when Allen was out. Other than that, he's getting like under 5 targets a game. I'll gamble on Harris because you think it's going to be a sloppy game. That sounds like a Harris game unless they go Burkhead. Because I don't really care for Mike Williams with Herbert.
They could easily go Burkhead, right?
I just don't see much. Like, sure, Mike Williams could go off and have a 2-touchdown game, but unlikely. So I'll go Harris.
Cam Newton, like your start of the week too.
My start of the week, I like Cam Newton because he's basically going to be a running back. Question from Chad Coleman, and he does say it's standard, so I'm still going to go Harris. You like Mike Williams a lot more than I do. Yeah. So Chad Coleman asks, T. Higgins, AJ Green, Swift, Jefferson, Judy, who at flex 0.5 PPR need 2 of 5?
I'm going to say Swift in there for sure.
Is that Justin Jefferson?
I would assume so. That's my second pick if it is.
How bad's the win in Cleveland or in Cincinnati game versus the one in Green Bay? Isn't Green Bay much worse?
Green Bay's a little. The Green Bay is like gusts up to 50. Cincinnati's gusts up to 40.
I'm saying 18 versus 24 here.
20 miles an hour for most of the game, and then gusts once in a while. It's tough to guess.
Hope for garbage time for Jefferson, I guess. It's tough to pick because you got 2 Bengals, and it's just which one is it going to be? You'll likely end up picking the wrong one, and you can't pick Judy. Like Judy's, he has to do it at some point to show it.
Yeah.
So Swift and Jefferson. Dustin Holland asks Evan Ingram or Trey Burton. I'll go Evan Ingram. Mo Alley Cox might play today.
I'm pretty sure it's Ingram for me as well. I'm just going to double check. But
Bobby Munson says, I'm trying to trade Woods to someone that is rock hard for him. What do you think his value is? 3rd round pick. See, again, Matt, you're going to have to answer this one.
It's, yeah, I guess it's sort of like around there. 3rd or 4th round pick, I guess, in that league. But I just don't think the market is there for someone like Woods right now with the team that he's trying to trade with. So I maybe lean even a 4th, 5th round pick. Like this person that's asking this wouldn't trade a 2nd round pick for like Stephon Diggs. So
Stephon Diggs is a few rounds ahead of Robert Woods, possibly 3 rounds.
Yeah. So
JP Chaos asks, how do we like LaMichael Pirine this week? Is he going to mash some potatoes?
No.
In PPR, he's not going to mash potatoes, but in standard, he's not even going to get potatoes.
Yeah.
In PPR, he might peel some potatoes. Might chop them a little bit, but he's not going to mash them up. No,
he's going to get some work probably early in that game until it gets out of hand. And then although they don't really have a better receiving back anyway.
Yeah. I think later in the game is when he'll do more damage. I think, like I said, in PPR, I think he peels the potatoes.
Yeah. Gore will be early and then they'll have to go to the receiving. And then they have another back that was decent for passing. I can't think of his name.
I think you're lying. You're thinking about Kalen Blau.
He's kind of like one of those guys that pops up once in a while.
Blau Powell?
Something like that, but it wasn't him.
Okay, so let's talk about the San Francisco backfield. Another nightmare of a backfield. And you have, I think, Hasty the highest.
Hasty was the highest, yeah.
I have McKinnon the highest. And now Coleman's in.
Yeah.
This tired legs thing from McKinnon, that's not a thing. How do you have tired legs? That's not like
you take 2 years off football and then that's what happens, I guess.
I don't know. That sounds like just like a made up coach thing. So I'm not buying it. I think McKinnon is the guy, but if Coleman plays, maybe they go Coleman. Like, you never know with this team. I would avoid all 3 of them if I could
this week. Yeah.
If I had other options, just because it's such a mess. Like, it could be Hasty. It could be, I would think it's going to be Coleman now running the ball if he's healthy. They activated him. So
yeah, they did activate him, and that kind of throws a wrench in any sort of JaMychal Hasty plays I was going to have if I think I had possibility for him in one. If I had to start one, I guess it would be Coleman, but I'm not starting any unless it's like absolutely desperate.
I think I might have McKinnon in one league where I basically have to. Dustin Holland asks, flex Jarvis Landry or his teammate Higgins? See, Matt, there is a teammate called Higgins. It's Jarvis Landry, though.
Yeah, it's Jarvis Landry for sure in that situation, that game.
All right, so let's talk about a player who has done literally nothing all year, but is still one of the most valuable assets in fantasy football. That's Michael Thomas. Matt, what's his rest of season value for you as a wide receiver? Where does he rank? Top 10?
Yeah,
Top 5?
Yeah, they've already had their bye. Like, I mean, I would imagine he's probably back next week. He practiced a lot this week, so I was kind of surprised they put him out. Maybe because it's Chicago and that field's not great, or that the wind or whatever. But anyway, I would put him in top 6-5 wide receivers, no question.
I don't think I'm that high on him. I think I would take safer plays just simply because this is 2 injuries and they're both soft tissue, right? Was ankle and then hamstring?
Yeah, it was high ankle sprain and then
hamstring.
Yep.
So you're dealing with injuries that could flare up and could miss more time. So I'm not basing this on talent. I'm basing this on the fact that they're going to probably play more games. So I'll take a safer option like a Kenny Golladay, who is going to be healthy rest of the season over him.
He was hurt too. Like with
he was, but he's come back and he's played games and he's proven that it's not flaring up, right? He's played and he's good.
So you're like, say like Tyreek Hill or Michael Thomas.
Tyreek Hill for sure.
And like Mike Evans.
No, not Mike Evans.
Julio.
That's a tough one because he deals with a lot of injuries too. I would probably say no to Julio as well.
Okay, so he's obviously below like Hopkins and Adams. Like, we're not going to bother them.
Yeah, he's outside the top 5, I would think, for me. But he's in the top 10 still. Like, he's not. I'd probably still have him ahead of Godwin. Because who knows what's going on in Tampa there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like a Stephon Diggs might be ahead of him. That's where we get close because he's played really well.
I would have Michael Thomas still ahead of those guys, but
you got a bunch of comments to get to, Matt. JP Chaos says, trying to decide between 3 elite tight ends, Gesicki, Graham, or Goddard. That is a tough one, and it's, to me, definitely not Gesicki.
It's Goddard for me.
What do you think Goddard's role is today coming back? Do you think he's 100%? He's the guy, he gets the ball?
I think so. I think he goes back to where he was, like he didn't miss a beat. I don't think they're going to use him in.
Like, I'm not opposed to that thought, but I just... 2 of these tight ends we're going to talk about later, so let's just talk about them right now. Jimmy Graham, I have in the top 10, and Matt, you have him at 15. So you're not believing Jimmy Graham is going to do anything, even though he's been pretty good. I think he's the safest bet, but Goddard is definitely the highest ceiling, and Gesicki is playing about 65% or less snaps per game in this tight end by committee that Miami has.
Yeah,
Matt, you have him at 11 this week. I have him at 19. I want no part of Gesicki until I can see Tua having a connection with him. But they've been rolling so many tight ends that I don't want that. Goddard is a fine play by me. It is, if you think he's going to be back in his full role, then it's Goddard and it's not close. Yeah. I'm just not 100% sold that Goddard comes in and does the number 1 tight end stuff. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, Goddard.
Kashif Mustafa says, I know this sounds crazy, but you like Mahomes or Herbert? I like Mahomes.
Yes, that does sound crazy.
Herbert is a ballsy sit this week. Nick Bastian says, Giovanni Bernard or Myles Gaskin, 0.5 PPR. Dolphins up against the Rams.
Yeah, that's closer. I'm going to go Gio. No, I'm going to go.
I'll go Gaskin.
Yeah, I have Gaskin higher. Sorry.
It's very close, though. Dr. Clutch just joined. Any idea who's playing in Seattle? Running backs available. My bench is not looking good. No clue.
No, that's.
Avoid it if you can. Or, like, and the thing, it's an afternoon game, so you'll have to have, like I did, a player playing for the Chargers or
somebody late
that you can pitch out. Right now we have no idea. I would guess Carson gets some work. I would guess, is Homer healthy?
Homer and DJ Dallas are the 2 that are for sure playing.
Okay. I would assume that's a split if it's just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I would avoid it. And Carson, I assume if he plays, might be on a snap count. So if you can avoid it.
I just don't see him playing. I see I think it's gonna be DJ Dallas, but I wouldn't gamble on it.
Dustin Holland asks, do we think Montgomery is ever going to do anything this year? Very good question.
Behind you.
He is going to continue to be what he is.
Yeah.
I think he's catching a lot more passes now, which is nice in PPR. Unfortunately, in standard, the yardage just really isn't getting there. And this offense isn't overly dynamic, so he's not getting a lot of chances to score. He's going to be what he is, which is like around the 20 level.
Yeah, he's a high volume guy. He's kind of like what we had with Lev Bell last year and the year before David Johnson. Like, he's going to get you like 10 points. And
he's going to be between here and here, and it's not going to be overly nice, but it's going to be good enough to not cost you games.
High floor,
low ceiling.
Yeah.
Big Ben or A-Rod, contemplating Ben because of the wins in the Green Bay game. Not a bad move, but A-Rod is pretty good. But Big Ben's good too. I don't see why you wouldn't go with
Big
Ben.
Ben's playing the Ravens, though. I'll take the Vikings in the win versus the Ravens.
I'll take Big Ben versus the Ravens.
Yeah, okay. I'll take Rodgers. Maybe a little bit of a bias, but yeah,
a lot of bias. Is Tua going to be a star? I have someone always trying to trade for him. Tua is going to be a star, and whoever is trying to trade for him is trying to get him for cheap off of you. So you shouldn't trade him away if you're in any type of keeper format and you're going to be able to hold on to him for extended period of time. If it's only this year and next year, maybe you consider the trade offer that you get sent when you get sent a good, I don't know what the person offered. Maybe it was another young rookie quarterback, like say Justin Herbert, that most people would take that trade. But again, up to you.
I think most people will take that trade if they're getting Tua. Yeah.
You would think that?
If you're getting Tua?
Versus Herbert.
Yeah, you want Tua.
In a redraft format, who would you rather have?
Neither.
Justin Herbert was ranked in the top 3 by some experts at CBS this week.
Yeah. Tua, I traded for him in a keeper league there.
Yeah, again, like I said, if it's long term, but if it's only 1 year or 2 where it's like contract league, maybe let him go.
We gave up big players for him, though, too. So,
Dr. Clutch, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. My decision is DJ Dallas and Adrian Peterson. Justin Jackson is my RB1 this week with James Robinson and Tony Gibson on bye. Wow. That is ugly. So, yeah, you're like Jackson is someone you can flip out for Dallas if Carson's not playing. No, he has Jackson as his RB1. He's starting Jackson no matter what. So it's between DJ Dallas and Adrian Peterson.
Oh.
I think you got to go DJ Dallas here.
Yeah.
Because Peterson has a tough matchup, and he's been losing work every week to Swift. So I think you go DJ Dallas. JP Chaos, need to clear a roster spot. Who bites the dust? Fitzy in Arizona or Gesicki in Miami? I would drop Fitz in Arizona just because Gesicki might be able to do something. But if you can hold off till after the games and Gesicki does nothing and his snap count is again lower than, say, 75%, you could probably safely clear out Gesicki because that's going to be a committee with Shaheen. And I don't even know the other guy's name, but he caught a touchdown last game.
The reason I'm going to say Gesicki here is because he's told us he already has Dallas Goedert and Jimmy Graham. So doesn't need 3.
He doesn't need 2.
Doesn't need 2 either. So start dropping them. Why are you dropping Larry Fitzgerald then if you only need 1 of them? Philly's on bye next week though, so Dallas Goedert's going to need a replacement next week.
Okay, so let's jump right to this. Let's rank the rookie quarterbacks rest of the season then, Matt. Since we had a question about it.
Joe Burrow's number 1.
Joe Burrow's number 1 for me as well. Who's 2? That's a close one. You buy the one who's proven it or shown it, or the one with the higher ceiling.
Can we discuss this about 4 hours from now?
All right, so we'll say it's a tie.
Because I think it's gonna be Tua, but right now, if I had to pick, I'd pick Herbert. But I'd say I think it's gonna be Tua.
Okay, I would go with Tua then Herbert, as obvious. Okay, that's why I'm scared because Peterson plays at noon. And Dallas's job is questionable in 325 or whenever they play. I don't see Peterson doing much against that Colts defense. That's been pretty solid. So I think you got to go with DJ Dallas here. Yeah,
you got to just gamble. I mean, at that point.
Yeah.
Unless you need the absolute floor of like 30 yards, then go Peterson, I guess.
It's time for the rankings fight. But stay tuned later on because we are going to have the first ever Matt versus Chat quiz competition. That's right, Matt. Get ready. You'll be taking on the chat.
Perfect.
Okay, first guy, Cam Newton. I have him in the top 5 this week. I absolutely love this matchup because Buffalo can't stop a running quarterback or a runner, and that's what he is. He's had, one game over 200 yards, and everything else has just been running on the ground. I think he has a big game, couple rushing touchdowns. Matt, you don't believe it. You think Cam Newton is done. You agree with the guy on Instagram today who said this might be Cam Newton's last game in the NFL.
I wouldn't go that far. He was awful against the 49ers, though.
It's good defense.
Sorry?
It's a good defense.
Yeah, it's okay defense. I mean, but now he's battling. Like, the thing that might save him here is the sloppy conditions. He might try to run it a bit more. That might save him in this particular game. I still wouldn't run him out there. Oh.
The Matt versus Chad quiz competition? No, unfortunately, that is not what it is.
Well, he could participate.
It is Matt versus Chat, which means you are a part of that. So yes, and you get to take him down. We cannot be quizzed on Arby's history. We will be quizzed on some football players of the past.
I can tell you, I would guarantee I would lose the Arby's history competition.
Continuing on with the rankings fight, David Montgomery, the man in the back, man we've talked about a little bit today. Matt Yum as high as 13 against a tough defense with the Saints. They've pretty much shut down a lot of running backs. What makes you like him that high this week? Is it just a lack of other good options?
Lack of other good options, yeah. He moved up because I pulled Aaron Jones out. I feel like I pulled somebody else out of the top 15 there. But anyway, it's a volume guy. He's got your high floor. I don't like guys that are like in his range. Like, I put him over Gaskin, and now that I've seen the weather, I'd probably put Jamal Williams ahead of him, so maybe he'd go to 14.
But he's still going to be started unless you have some really good backs because of the weakness of the backs this week.
You have to.
Yes, sir. I love that Montgomery jersey. Make sure to hit that like button, Dr. Clutch. Glad you like it. Let's talk about Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette here. So you have Ronald Jones higher this week when you had Leonard Fournette higher last week. And Leonard Fournette was better last week.
I don't think I had Ronald Jones higher or Leonard Fournette higher last week.
I thought you did.
I don't think so.
Maybe you just had it closer than I did.
Maybe. But yeah, it's like Leonard Fournette had more snaps than Ronald Jones last week, though. That's concerning.
So why are you sticking with Ronald Jones? And Ronald Jones ran like garbage last week, too. He had like a 2.3 average. Yeah. What's making you stick with Ronald Jones? Is it the coach talk? Is it Arians think he's still the guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think that they're gonna still give Jones more carries this week, but it's not gonna be a lot. It's a Ronald Jones I would start if I had to pick one of the two, but Fournette's eventually I think gonna get that role. That could start this week.
Yeah, I have Fournette higher this week, so I think Fournette is going forward going to be the better back. He is the better back, and he showed it last week. He showed it in the last time he played. Every game he plays, he's going to show it. So I like Fournette going forward ahead of him. What about Brandon Ayuk? Are you not liking this matchup? You have him down at 29, so it's not bad, but he is basically the only option there. Other than
George Kittle.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be George Kittle, and, I just don't like him that much as a number one wide receiver, like, when there's no other options. I mean, aside from, like, of course, Kittle, but I don't mind him. He's kind of a flex start. Yeah.
I think this is the Jimmy Garoppolo big game of the season, like the one he had against the Saints last year, like the 4-touchdown game. I think this is the one with the running back situation being in complete disarray. Tired legs, coming off IR, undrafted rookie free agent. I think it's going to be a shootout too because Seattle's going to put up points. So I think this is the big game for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think as a result, Brandon Ayuk will probably hit a score, probably hit 100 yards. So I do like him.
Yeah, no, Seattle's pass defense is awful. So, I mean, for sure, it's potentially there. Garoppolo hasn't done it this year, really.
No, he hasn't. And he doesn't really do it normally. He just usually has that one big game. But let's talk about Justin Jefferson. I'd start Brandon Ayuk over Justin Jefferson. Matt, are you on that train now with the wind?
They are very, very close. I'd lean Ayuk there.
Okay. Another player I have behind Ayuk, Devontae Parker, who is going to be playing with the rookie quarterback. Don't know what the rapport is there. He hasn't been all that great this year. He hasn't been bad. He's been okay. And he plays the Rams, the number one pass D. So he's going to see a lot of a man named Jalen Ramsey. Ayuk or Devontae Parker today?
I'm still going to go Parker.
You're still going to take...
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see what I think Tua's going to do some things that we're not maybe even prepared for. I think the Rams might not even be prepared for it. They don't have any film on him from Miami.
Yeah, I think if he does things, it'll be with his legs, though.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, he's got an arm. Like, it's not like he's a running.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah. But like the things that you might not be expecting is him scrambling and just like taking off for a huge amount of yards. What about Sterling Shepard, Matt? You're still not buying him as the number one guy in New York. You have Slayton ahead of him at 30, him at 35. I have a much bigger gap, which Sterling Shepard leading in PPR. I'm a full believer this guy's a top 30 wide receiver rest of season. He's a great plug and play during the bye weeks or for injuries. So you're still not on the Sterling Shepard?
No, I'm not really on it. And that matchup is terrible for them. Like, I just don't see them putting up a ton of points. So, I mean, I don't want to start either one if I don't have to.
The one thing I will say is that they have been burnt deep. So Slayton comes into play there and could be a high upside play. That's
what I was going to say. Like, I mean, Slayton's higher because that's probably going to be garbage time. They're probably going to take some shots. You know, that's my logic for having Slayton a little bit higher.
Okay. So let's get to the Pittsburgh wide receivers. I have them ranked like basically all together. I don't know which one's going to be the best one today. It's probably going to be Deontay if I had to pick one, then Juju, then Claypool in that order. But it could be any of them. Baltimore has a couple of good corners. Who are they going to set those guys on? Are they just going to have them be out there and some guys will just be left uncovered? What are you doing with these Pittsburgh receivers rest of season? Like who would you start this week happily? Who would you start not so happily, and who would you be happy to sit?
I'm happy to sit Claypool. That's the one I'm a little bit more down on. I'm okay with Deontay or Juju. I like Deontay more just because the upside's higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay starting Juju as well. But that's their low end wide receiver twos at this point.
Yeah, they're all together. Like I think it's going to be kind of a musical chairs type of play. Stroke My Eagle asks, do I get risky and start Tua over Brady? No. Lots of blood flow for Tua so far from you guys. Yeah, we like Tua long term. We're not, rock hard for him this week. It's going to be a slow rising over several games and into next season, and then eventually, yeah.
I mean, maybe next year he's in the conversation with, the Watson and Wilson kind of, probably not at Mahomes and Jackson, but maybe the next level.
Yeah, he has that upside, right? But again, is it going to happen week one? It could, but there's no need to start him over Brady. Brady's going to be solid.
Yeah.
Dr. Clutch asks, AJ Dillon is available right now. You think I should take him over DJ, or is Jamal going to take over that backfield today? A lot of wind.
I would say no.
I will go whatever Matt says because he watches every single Green Bay Packers game.
Well, yeah, but it's just like DJ's got the higher ceiling because if Carson doesn't play, like Dillon, his floor is probably what Dillon's ceiling is.
There you go.
I mean, Dillon might get the goal line rushes with no Aaron Jones there, but Jamal did fine last week with the goal line.
So let's talk about the Cincinnati wide receivers. A similar situation to Pittsburgh, except more wide open. On the Instagram, in the stories, it was ranked as AJ Green being the lowest of the three, with Boyd being the highest. Do you agree with that, or do you have Higgins third?
No, that's what I agree with.
So you think AJ Green is the wide receiver 3 on this team behind Higgins?
For fantasy purposes, yes.
Do you think it's closer between him and Higgins or between Boyd and Higgins?
It's closer between Higgins and Green.
Okay. So Boyd is unlike the Pittsburgh situation. Boyd is probably ahead of all the Pittsburgh wide receivers rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then the other two Cincinnati guys are probably behind Juju
and Deontay.
Yeah, but before Claypool.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. How do we feel about Swift? Does he take over more each week and becomes an RB1? RB1 might be shooting a little bit high, but I definitely think he does take over more and more each week. could see a top 15 ceiling maybe, but definitely a RB2, like every week starter on the same level as, say, a David Montgomery. Wrong side.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not quite as high as Montgomery, just because the volume might not be quite as high there, but he's going to be like top 20 anyway.
Bars in the tuck. Good morning. Pick 2, Gaskin, Monty, DJ Dallas, Fournette, non-PPR. Thanks. Happy fantasy. Well, what a nice comment. Why isn't everybody this nice when they comment? Bars in the tuck.
It's the first 2 for me.
The first 2 for me as well. DJ Dallas is definitely not there. Fournette, I can't trust it fully yet. I know the other 2 guys are going to get the volume. And even though Monty is not the best start this week, I'm still more confident in that volume. And I'll go with the first 2. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Bars in the tuck. Thank you so much.
Yeah, DJ, you can't trust that right now.
No.
If Carson was out, I would still even go the other way. I'd still go with Gaskin.
Carson doesn't even affect that. What's life like as T.Y. Hilton these days? Probably not that great. I mean, other than the millions and millions of dollars that he has that he can spend, and probably his last year, Matt, or do you think he tries to stick around and play?
I think he'll stick around a bit. I mean, why not?
In Indy or somewhere else?
They got Campbell. They got Pittman. I think Indy might move on.
Yeah. Not sure what the contract situation is, but
right. I mean, if Rivers stays, maybe. But
I think if Rivers stays, he'd want to leave. I don't think him and Rivers work that well together.
No, but I'm just saying that would just show that Indy's not really willing to go completely young yet.
Yeah. Good point. Dr. Clutch, I'm starting Higgins and Tyreek at wide receiver and Fulham at flex. Benching Hollywood Brown this week until he has a better game. I absolutely hate Hollywood Brown every week, except for this one. He's in all my DFS plays, so I like him. I think this is going to be a game where the big names are going to have to step up, and I would be starting Hollywood Brown over both Higgins and Fulham. Not Tyreek, but you know.
I mean, I'd start him over either Higgins. I was gonna say that's T or Richard, but it doesn't matter. And I think I have Fulham higher than Marquise Brown this week. But that was also before that they got Rager and Goddard. I'm okay starting Fulham over Hollywood Brown though.
I'm not. Start Hollywood Brown. Get him in there. Win by 100.
It depends what you need.
Patrick McDonald says 0.5 PPR, Corey Davis or Henry Ruggs. Oh, it says Mims there too, right? Mims, Corey Davis, or Henry Ruggs. Man, do I love Mims. I like all these plays this week.
I'm going Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is the safest of the 3.
Mind you, there's that wind issue there.
For Corey, there is. I forgot that's where they're playing.
Cincinnati.
I'm going Mims. They got nobody else. Perriman's out. Crowder's out. It's Braxton Berrios and him. And this is going to be a game where they are way behind, so it's going to be a lot of throwing. Give me Mims. Give me Mims.
I think Davis has got the highest floor, for sure. But Mims' floor is pretty high this week.
Unless they run just Derrick Henry over and over and over and over and then some more and then 30 carries.
You might be selling me on Mims, actually, now that the more I think about it.
Yeah, Mimsy.
Just because there's nobody else, like you said. And they're going to have to throw like that. They're going to be getting blown out all game. Let's go, Mims.
It's time. Matt versus chat. Here we go, Matt. Now, this is a player. You have to guess who they are right after these comments. Okay. Artec N says, hello, half PPR. Have to sit one of these studs. Fulgham, Cooper, or D. Parker. That's going to be probably Fulgham. You could sit Parker, but you can't sit Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper. I mean, even with the quarterback situation there,
Cooper still get his. Yeah. Thanks, boys. Love the stream. Patrick McDonald, thank you so much for that comment. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and stick around because you get to play against Matt. So this is how it's going to work. It's a player. I'm going to give you a hint. If you get it on the first hint, you get 5 points. If you get it on the second hint, you get 4 points. It doesn't matter points-wise because all you have to do is get the answer before chat. But, Matt, you only get one guess per hint. We have another question here. It's not on the screen yet. There it is. Hunter Henry or Claypool?
I would go Henry.
Yeah, sure. Give me Henry. Henry's a safer play. Henry seems to still get targets from Herbert, but Mike Williams does not. So it's a player. Here comes the hint. Chat, feel free to spam answers as much as you want. Matt, you get one guess per hint. I was an undrafted free agent for a team that no longer exists. Matt, you got a guess? Chat's on a 15-second delay, so you want to get these answers.
Are these current players, I'm assuming? Oh, well.
They're fantasy ghosts. So probably not.
I don't know. I don't have a guess right now.
Fournette or Bell, flex PPR, that's going to be Bell. Okay, hint number 2. I was the week 1 starter at running back in my rookie season, finished with 1,600 plus rushing yards. I'm not going to lie, this is not going to be easy.
No. And these aren't current players, I'm assuming. It can't be.
Fantasy ghosts.
This is probably wrong. I'm going to go Jamal Lewis. I don't know if he was drafted before Cleveland left for Baltimore. Oh, I guess Cleveland exists now. Anyway, I would scratch that one.
Have some injury issues in running back. Justin Jackson or Dobbins? Concerned with Dobbins against Steelers? I am not. Go Dobbins.
I would go Dobbins there too, yeah.
Tannehill or Josh Allen? Both with sloppy conditions.
I'm still going to go Josh Allen.
You got Josh Allen. Should I take out Tannehill and put in Wentz? Is that the safer play here with the wind?
I think so. I think I have Wentz ahead of him before I knew that. Anyway.
I benched T. Higgins for Hollywood. Yeah. You guys aren't answering these questions, though. You are in this game. So you said Jamal Lewis. That is incorrect.
I also said never mind because
following 3 1,000+ yards rushing season and a 750 in my 4th year, I continued my career for division rival Dallas Cowboys.
It'd be nice to know an era here.
This guy played up until last year.
Really? So it's Washington, New York, or Philly.
Well, which one of those teams doesn't exist anymore?
Oh, Washington doesn't. Okay.
Little trickster.
That's got to be Alfred Morris.
It is Alfred Morris.
How many points did I get? 2?
3. Very well done. The next was, although I was never much of a pass catcher, overtook Roy Halou and Evan Royster to win the starting job. And my nickname is a letter name that used to be the name of a TV show. It should say 3-letter name.
Oh, Alf.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt 1, chat 0. Come on, guys. Step it up. Derrick Henry or Marshawn Lynch? That is going to be Derrick Henry. Tough one. Tough one there.
That might be guesses. I don't know.
All right. Who am I? Number 2.
Oh, we're playing more than one player.
There are 3.
Okay.
And that was the easiest one.
Oh, perfect. Well, that quiz with the Washington thing kind of threw me off. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a running back, so now you know position, drafted in the 5th round of the 2015 draft and did nothing my rookie season. Come on, chat. Throw some names out. You got to beat him. He's got 3 points.
2015.
The longer you take, the more chances chat has to get in here and beat you.
That's fine. I don't mind I don't mind being an equal player here. Did nothing my rookie year, so they just didn't hit the field, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know who this one is. Okay, now I do. No, it is not Christian Okoye.
He's not a running back.
Wasn't he? Isn't he the guy from the Chiefs from the 90s? Is that somebody else? 2015 draft. Matt, do you want the next hint or you want to throw a guess?
No, I don't know.
I became the de facto starter for my team in my 2nd year after the starter left in free agency, but then lost the starting job to Arian Foster.
I'm going to say Steve Slayton.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
And the correct answer is Jay Ajayi. Chad has 1.
Okay.
Chad got 4 points. Matt, you were way off on your years. Jay Ajayi.
I guess so. Arian Foster was around
Steve Slayton was 2009. Next questions was, I had back-to-back 200-yard rushing games and 3 in total during my 2nd season, which led me to be ranked as high as top 5 fantasy running back the following season. I'm currently out of the NFL at 27, but I have a Super Bowl ring. I was traded from the Dolphins to the Eagles, where I helped them win a Super Bowl. By the way, Lamar Miller was Miami's back who went to Houston, and then Foster came to Miami and was the lead back. So they basically
that was the wrong way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JaMychal Hasty or Dobbins? Give me Dobbins.
Yeah, Dobbins.
Can't trust that San Francisco one. Okay, last one.
I think Slayton was actually good in his rookie year too, now that I think about it.
What's that?
I think Slayton was good in his rookie year.
Yeah, that was the only year he was good.
Yeah.
Okay, who am I? Player number 3. Here's hint 1. I was an undrafted free agent in 2015 who finished his career with just over 300 carries. This is definitely the toughest one.
Yeah, that could be a whole lot of anybody.
Ready for hint number 2?
I'm assuming this is a running back.
I would assume so, but it could. I mean, 300 carries. Maybe it's a quarterback. And by the way, as you can see, finished career, no longer in the league. Hint number 2. I was a highly touted fantasy running back going into my second season as the lead back on our run first team had retired.
I was a highly touted running back going into my second lead back.
Jarvis Landry is incorrect.
So we're talking 2016 now. So who retired around there?
And you've lost to chat again. Thomas Rawls is the correct answer. Wow, Dr. Clutch.
That's a good one, yeah.
Very impressive. It was not Randy Moss. So it was Thomas Rawls. So yeah, highly touted going to his second year as Marshawn Lynch had retired. I had one good fantasy game in that year, and in 9 games finished the second season on my team, second on my team in rushing yards to a guy with the girl's name. You know the guy with the girl's name?
To a guy. Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's Kristen Michael.
Yeah, okay, Christine.
And less than 90 rush yards ahead of my quarterback, who was a 2020 MVP candidate. Obviously, that is.
Yeah, I mean that would have been really tough to get. Thomas Rawls is a great guess. Yeah, that was.
So I last played a game for the Bengals in 2018, but I last touched football for the Seahawks the previous year. Apparently, also with the Jaguars, but it was cut in preseason. I was a monster in my rookie season when I came in to replace an injured Marshawn Lynch. This is obviously the hint that should make you get it.
Yeah.
I do not know how Dr. Clutch got that off of the information, but that's a win for chat.
Yeah.
Matt goes down.
I think Ajayi was Googled, so that's my guess on that one.
Ben DiNucci or Tua? Tua,
but that's tough either way.
I mean, I think it's Tua, and it's pretty clear.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's tough between the two, but I mean, that's just a tough person to start.
Yeah. I mean, would you start Ben DiNucci or somebody on bye?
Depending, who is it? Like, is it Watson on bye? Maybe.
It matters who's on bye, apparently. Okay, so I thought that was going to take a little bit longer because I didn't think that you would get all of that. There is no Sunday Showdown today.
Okay.
We can talk about a couple other things that I have here. Like Cole Beasley, Matt. Why do you hate Cole Beasley so much?
I don't hate Cole Beasley.
Yeah, you do.
I moved him up quite a bit.
You have him at 37.
Well, he was like in the 60s last week. So.
Yeah, and he had a huge game. John Brown is back this week, so I would expect his numbers too. But I think he's a high floor play in PPR. I think he's a pretty decent.
I actually picked up Beasley in one league to start him, and then I dropped him because I believe I'm just going to double check who I picked up to drop him, but I believe it's Denzel Mims. It was Denzel Mims. So I'm sure you're on board with that.
Yeah.
There you go. So I like
probably have to rank higher this week, but take or Tootsie Rules. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know what take is.
Twix. It says Twix. He corrected Twix later.
Oh, okay. Twix for sure. Tootsie Rolls are not very good. I don't care for them.
Twix.
Cousins or Stafford? With the win, you got to go Stafford now.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think they're going to have to throw a lot at the end of the game, regardless, just to try to catch up.
And Dalvin Cook is playing, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to worry.
Yeah, they'll be able to run the ball. Like, I mean, Packers' run defense isn't good.
Question for you: Matthew Stafford or Tua Tagovailoa?
I would go Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Julian Edelman droppable, man?
If you don't have any IR spots, I guess.
Are you looking to keep him even if you do have an IR spot?
I mean, he's supposed to be back. If it's PPR, I'd probably keep him. Standard, I'd probably just be okay jumping him.
JP Chaos says, enjoy the show, fellas. Have a great Sunday. JP Chaos, have a great Sunday. Make sure to like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Who's winning, Pack or Vikings? The Pack will win easily.
They should win easily, yeah.
Pascal, Juju, or Mims? You still got to go Juju there.
Yeah.
Then Mims.
Yeah, Zach Pascal is not really in that conversation.
I am starting Mims in several leagues, and including, I believe, in our matchup.
Yeah, like I said, our matchup isn't what it should have been. Like, with no Odell, no Mixon, Calvin Ridley played a quarter. That was...
Yeah, that's unfortunate for you. Kellen Holloway says, see ya, have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Have yourself a wonderful day. Enjoy the football. Best of luck to all your fantasy teams. Matt, it's time for What Grinds Your Gears.
You putting me on the spot like that.
My brother needs a flex. Mims, Pascal, Barrios, Mooney, Dylan. That's going to be Mims.
Yeah.
Mims. I should really just crack out the Mims jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, but none of those other guys you play anyway. I mean, Mooney would be the next step.
With the wind?
Even with the win, like that's just the next guy out of that. Yeah.
Pretty weak. Matt, you have any start-sit decisions that you want us to go over since Chat beat you in the game?
Kind of a Carson thing, but I don't have any other options there. We're not putting like Swift versus Dobbins. I think we both agree it's Swift, right?
Yep, Swift is pretty high up now. That'll be a split for the Ravens between Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Although Dobbins will probably be the one catching the most passes.
Yeah, I didn't really have much else. Could be if you care if it's bad players or not. Because this league here, I had Justin Jackson versus Wayne Gallman.
I go Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's that 2-quarterback league where I have Mahomes and Watson.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the time of year, right? This is a crazy week. This is the middle of the season. Next week on the show, we're going to be going over our mid-season awards. So be ready for that.
All right. It's pretty crazy to think it's already week 8, and we've only canceled. They've only canceled one game, or is it 2 now? 1, right?
Every game they've just postponed. They've just changed the buys around.
But I mean, yeah, only one game that was supposed to happen didn't, right?
Yeah, that was the Denver game that got moved a week, and then they had to change the schedule.
Yeah. So pretty good so far, all things considered.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how well it's gone, and I'm optimistic that we'll get a full season in. The fantasy season end of the year might end up like we could see like, oh, it's week 16, but not everybody's playing.
It could,
because the buys have come into play. That would really mess with fantasy.
Postponed, but the NFL just doesn't really seem to care if there's a COVID test. There was 4.
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions here. Ayuk or Cooper? Cooper. Jonu or Goddard? Jonu.
Yeah.
Coleman or Bernard? That's Bernard. Ravens or Chargers, D? Chargers. Right?
Yeah, that's close, but yeah, sure.
I mean, we're not
Ravens against the
Steelers.
I mean, I think that's probably too late anyway for that person.
I think they probably have some time. Is it 12 now, or is it what time is it on your clock?
It is noon on mine and 1 o'clock on my other one. So
all right, time to go.
Yep.
That's
Thanks for watching.